Welcome to the Fiorina Beauty Podcast, hosted by Patti Sapanaro. Be prepared to hear stories of triumph, challenge, and overcoming. Along the way, you'll learn a few things too. But most importantly, you'll learn one thing. Say Bella, which means you are beautiful. Welcome to the Fiorina Beauty Podcast.
So I am so excited today. I'm Patti Sapanaro with Fiorina Beauty, and I have a special guest today, an incredible special guest, one that really brought this over the finish line of why we are here today with Fiorina Beauty. A year and a half in the making, and this incredible guest who's our formulator. And he has a big team. He has a lot of R&D and chemists and so forth, but he's really the man that has made this happen. And so please help me welcome Kyle.
Hey, Patti. Hey, it's great to be here. Yes, I'm excited. I'm excited about this formula. It's phenomenal. It really is. We spent a lot of time on it, a lot of time formulating it, a lot of time flavoring it, making sure it tastes good and is good for you. But I am very excited to be here.
Well, you have no idea how honored and excited I am that we crossed our paths, which was just such an answer to prayer.
Can you believe that?
No.
It is. Should we tell the story?
Yes.
Do you want me to tell it?
Yes,
or do you want
you
to tell
it because it's just, we can't make this kind of stuff up, right?
Not at all. No. Sometimes some of the greatest things happen from some of the wildest experiences. And so this was one of those wild, unforeseen experiences. But I was taking my son, Braden, to get his hair cut. Yeah. And you were behind the desk at the time. And I was checking out. And you said, "Hey, do you swim?" I said, "Yeah." You said, I've seen you swimming before. You're a swimmer, aren't you? I said, "I am." And I said, I actually have seen you out there swimming too. And you said, "Yeah, but I've got some joint pain and something." I said, "Oh, you should try this turmeric." And you said, "Yeah, I know a lot about nutrition. I've tried a lot. It really doesn't work." I said, "Well, there's a special this and that, and you should really consider it." And you said, "Do you formulate or something?" And I said, "Actually, I do." And you said, "My goodness, I've been working on a formula for a long time. Yeah. Could you help me with this?" Yeah. And that's where this friendship started, and it's kind of blossomed into working close together on creating this incredible nutritional powder, this antioxidant and anti-aging and free radical neutralizing formula. And here we are. We're at the final stages.
Yeah. I'm so excited. And I'm so happy you didn't mention. So when you were telling me about the turmeric drink, I was kind of looking at you like, this guy doesn't know anything, And I'm glad you didn't notice because I was like, yeah, okay. Kind of blowing you off. And I mean, right, who would have known? Now, you're a little humble in the story because honestly, you brought this thing through the finish line. And I mean, I just got to go right to the taste and then we can back up. But, one of the biggest challenges of the year and a half with some of the other formulators in the team is they couldn't get the taste right. Mm-hmm. And you come into the picture as the lead formulator now. And I mean, you just got it done. Mm-hmm. No matter who I've had try this formula, everyone across the board is like, "Oh my gosh, this is delicious." And you just knew what to do. So just kind of speak on the miracle of this incredible powder and how incredible it tastes.
It is. It tastes really good. And taste is critical. One thing we've learned throughout the years is you could have the best formula in the world, but if it doesn't taste good, people won't take it. Yeah. They'll try it once and they'll spit it out and they go, "Oh," and you could tell them it could cure cancer, but if it tastes terrible, I'm convinced they wouldn't take it. It doesn't matter. So I've worked with a phenomenal formula team for probably 15 years now. Mm-hmm. And there's 8 different scientists. 6 of them are flavor scientists. And they specialize in creating the perfect flavor profiles for formulas. And they specialize in using organic or all-natural ingredients. They're very familiar with some of the needs and demands that the organic market requires. Mm-hmm. And so we've really had to be very inventive, and I'll probably have to trying to think of a word right now. So, could we start right now? I'll answer that question, and we'll just
Yeah.
okay. The ingenuitive is a word I was trying. I don't even know if that's a word, but it's coming to my mind.
Ingenuitive sounds good.
But anyways, the team is incredible, and it's amazing because no matter what I give them, B vitamins are very bitter, minerals can be very salty, herbs can be very tangy, very strong. Those are very hard to get to taste good.
Right.
And so what they use is they'll use different, what we call bitter blockers, because some of this bitterness comes through, and these are all organic bitter blockers that are used, and many times we use them actually straight from the fruit extracts, because God has created some amazing natural, God-made bitter blockers out there that man does not have to change. And but you have to really know the science behind that and know how that works. And so they're also really good at not getting things too sweet, or just they use on the flavor profiles a sweetness index that they can follow. And you can actually, people don't know this, but you can track the sweetness of something based on a numerical scale.
Oh.
And so they did a phenomenal job with this. And sometimes we'll have to give them some frameworks to work within and things that we need. And they always execute and always do a great job.
They did an amazing job. And you said, and I love this, the better blockers. I don't think you and I talked about that. I didn't even know that that was just natural from a plant. So I love that. And then, I was like, Kyle, I don't want any chemicals. I don't want anything, nothing. No, I just want natural. And so when the taste profile came back, I was like, oh, this is too good to be true.
It's too good. It's got to be
Right?
artificial.
It's got to be artificial. And so you said, okay, well, when we got literally those 2 lines basically saying lemon and lime juice, I just was blown away. And then if that wasn't enough, that it's just lemon, lime juice, monk fruit, and stevia, okay, that's amazing right there. But then when the nutritional facts came back and you said 0 calories,
I know.
0 sugars,
0 glycemic. Yes.
0 glycemic.
Yeah, not going to spike the insulin at all. I know.
I mean, I couldn't believe it. So for all the fasting people, I do fast myself.
Me
I've been
too.
doing it for decades. I guess before it was cool, right? We were ahead of our time.
No, we were.
And we didn't even
the
know
Daniel
it.
fast.
Yes, I did the Daniel fast, yes. But I've been doing this intermittent fasting, forever. And I couldn't believe it. I'm still in awe of how it tastes so amazing. 0 sugars, 0 calories. So completely safe for us intermittent fasting friends like myself and so many out there. So
It is. For anyone who is intermittent fasting, if you're doing, a 16-8 or a 5-2, where you fast for 5 days, and then you take 2 days off, or you're fasting for 16 hours and you take 8 hours off, it's phenomenal for that. It's phenomenal for people who want to do a Daniel fast. It's phenomenal for people who are wanting to reset their system. If they're wanting to do a detox. This is the type of formula you can take when you're doing that fast.
which is amazing. Now, you mentioned something else. You said that your team, and you have a great team and a big team, but isn't it unique that you have that many taste profile experts on a team? You don't always see that, right?
Well, one of the things that we
Excuse
find
me.
is taste is critical, and so you have to put it paramount. And when you have a lot of formulas you're working on, you're going through a lot of, oh, let's try this, and oh, this doesn't taste good. So before you even get to the taste, generally it's already been tested 15 or 16 times. And so they're not going to send you something that they already know you're probably not going to like. They've been around long enough to know, don't even send this. So by the time you get a sample, that's one that they've come together and said, this tastes pretty stinking good. And they go, let's send this off and let's see what they think.
That's
so
amazing.
by the time we got it, generally when I've tried something they've approved already, very rarely do I have to send it back, very rarely. Sometimes it may come across a little too sweet or not sweet enough or not, lemon, My concern is how much how much can they taste the lemon lime, that refreshing taste that you want to get? So in the back of my head, I thought, I hope it has that
Yeah.
because, it can be sweet and some people will go for sweet,
Right.
but people want to know it not only tastes sweet, but it's got something else in it that makes you come back for more because we
Yes.
don't just go back for something. People don't just put table sugar in their mouth or they would.
Right.
No, they want something that tastes like a strawberry or a blueberry or refreshing lemonade. And in this case, that's what that is. It's very refreshing, has that lemonade kind of flavor, that lemon lime, all from a lemon and a lime combined, a yellow lemon and a green lime combined. And that's the flavor you're getting mixed in this. And so they did a phenomenal job. I love it.
Yeah, they did. And you've done a phenomenal job just, driving this thing home and
Well,
taking
let me tell you,
Yeah.
you have guided us too, because you know your stuff. When it comes to formulas and ingredients and what you're looking for in a formula, you had very specific guidelines in this formula. And so when you gave me those guidelines, we talked over and over again, and I would really trying to get in your head. What are you trying to accomplish? What do you want? What do you need in this formula? And you were very specific about what you wanted. And so what we do is we take that and we go back and we go, okay, how do we make this taste good?
Right.
What do we need to add? We know we don't want to, add, even if we add monk fruit, because monk fruit can be glycemic. And so if you're going to add monk fruit, you can only add a little bit of monk fruit because monk fruit gives it that like baseline sweetness, which is what we look for.
Right.
And so monk fruit's phenomenal, but monk fruit's expensive, and I know that.
Yeah.
And so, but it also can be glycemic. Now, stevia is completely zero glycemic. And so what we do is we use just the amount of ratio where you add a little monk fruit to give you that kind of bubblegum sweetness, along with the stevia, which is no glycemic, which makes it a little more sweet. And then you add that lemon lime and it's perfect.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
It is perfect. So thank you. Now, let's kind of dig in a little bit because we know that Fiorina Beauty is for women. In this particular formula, Beauty Balance, was very, like you said, it was very intentional. It was very strategic. And it was also, the thought behind it was we need to have a formula that is very foundational or root or cellular. Cellular is probably a little nicer way of saying, right? And we wanted to give the body, because we know the body all works together and everything within the body is all interconnected. And so we wanted to create that beauty balance, that foundation for ladies to give them that all day energy, no crash, no cravings, to balance their blood sugar and their hormones, and be in a good mood. Now, I noticed that, a lot of the ingredients in there, our ashwagandha and our L-theanine and our good mood herb, all of them work so synergistically together, addressing that mood and that anxiety and that stress. But then you have, our blood sugar blend, right? And our hormone blend, and everything is really there for a purpose, but it also connects. It all goes back to those hormones, and it's just such a brilliant formula. So can you just kind of speak on some of the, maybe we can start with Promax or just some of the things in there. And like you said, with the Promax, we don't want to store fat. None of us do. We talked about the skinny fat. Someone can be very thin, but you still don't want to have a high fat content. You want to always burn fat, not store fat. So maybe just kind of talk a little bit about how, you and your team decided to keep this in. And
Promax is phenomenal. Promax is a phenomenal ingredient. It's a patented ingredient. It's a patented chromium, which is a B vitamin. And there's actually clinical studies on Promax. And so it's Promax in itself is absorbed 15 times higher. The bioavailability is 15 times higher than the standard chromium, the standard B3. And so you're getting much more absorption. But what it does is it helps regulate that blood sugar. It's really, it supports blood sugar more than any other B vitamin. So chromium is key and not only helping support healthy blood sugar, but it also helps reduce those sugar cravings. And so people, a lot of the patients that my father has seen through the years, and, my father and I, we co-authored a book, Get Fit and Live. And I was a personal trainer for many years. And one of the biggest challenges I had was people who were pre-diabetic or type 2 diabetic or struggling with just blood sugar issues. Those people generally crave foods late at night. And so if we can address those cravings, you're generally going to address the other blood sugar issues. Now, we can't make a claim and say it's going to cure type 2 diabetes, but can I tell you, this helps support healthy blood sugar like no other, really does. And so Promax is really key in this formula. There's many key ingredients, but I would say that this is one of the dream team type ingredients in this formula. And so supporting the blood sugar, helping reduce those cravings is key to really helping people burn fat and lose weight.
Yeah. And the clinicals are pretty strong on that, aren't they?
There was a 12-week study on I don't recall how many were included in the study, but there was a 12-week study where it showed that there was a 2-time reduction in sugar cravings. And there was also a 1.8 reduction in fat loss compared to the placebo group. And those are the things that we look for, is those double-blind placebo-controlled studies. And so Promax invested the money to do those studies, which is very rare and is key in having that evidence. And so very impressive. Love this. This is definitely one of the key ingredients in this formula.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because burning fat is great.
Let me tell you, burning fat, what we found is fat in itself, when you biopsy fat, it contains over 40 heavy metals, phthalates, chemicals, pesticides, herbicides. Fat is very sticky. So when we're consuming, even if you're eating healthy and you're outside, you're exposed to a very toxic environment. And so there's ozone, there's cadmium in the environment, there's heavy metals in the environment. Well, when you breathe that in, or if you consume it through bad foods, it is going to be stored in your fat.
Wow.
So
I never knew that.
the more fat you have, the more toxic you are, because that fat literally acts as flypaper to all of those toxic heavy metals, chemicals, herbicides, fungicides. So the more fat you can remove from your body, naturally you're going to have less of those toxicities in your body. So you're going to have more energy, you're going to feel better, you're going to have deeper sleep. So weight loss is wonderful. Burning fat is wonderful because, of course, we can fit in our pants. We can, fit back in our dress. There's all those things that are great that go along with it. However, internally, what it's doing to us is it's giving us a better quality of life.
Wow.
I see relationships get restored just because they have more energy, more time to invest. I see people who make more money because that they have the energy to be more productive at work. It's when you're getting rid of that fat, you have a clearer mind. And so you can think clearer in your decisions. So you're making better decisions on a daily basis. So it really is a comprehensive approach. When you're attacking fat, you're attacking every area of your life that's holding you back.
Wow. You know what? I didn't know that. That's amazing. So that's another great key benefit to what we have. Yeah, because I know that we have all those great we call them the mood blends, within Beauty Balance, which is great. You just feel, like running around like a cheerleader, but you just feel great, which, allows you to conquer the day.
Oh, well, mood
ease.
is key. And so, mood, so dopamine is tied to mood in a lot of ways. And so there's other neurotransmitters that are tied to mood, but dopamine is a real key neurotransmitter. And what we find is a lot of these ingredients have studies and help support healthy dopamine levels. Zinc is one. Zinc is critical. You have Panax ginseng in here, which is a Korean ginseng, which helps support healthy mood through dopamine support. You have ashwagandha, which is phenomenal for mood. You have there's the Panax, which is the Korean ginseng, and then you have rhodiola, which is the other adaptogenic herb, which helps there's so many. I mean, these ingredients have been used for thousands of years for mood. And so it really does help. The black cohosh has been shown to support healthy mood. It doesn't only do that, but it helps support menstrual cycles and postmenopause and night sweats and hot flashes. So when you're attacking mood, you're kind of talking about many things. There's premenopausal mood, postmenopausal mood. But from a premenopausal mood standpoint, this addresses so many things, and it also addresses so many postmenopausal mood things that people have to address in that part of their life. And so it really does address both pre and postmenopausal moods. It also, some of these ingredients have been shown to be aphrodisiacs, even for women and men. And so through boosting dopamine. And so anything that generally can help support healthy dopamine levels can also be good for libido. And so, that's mood. And so getting in the mood, and so they all work synergistically together.
Yeah. Which is amazing.
It is. And then energy. So you can be in a good mood, but if you're exhausted,
Right.
how do you do that? So you have your key B vitamins, which actually Promax is chromium. It's a B vitamin. It helps support that. We have B6 and B12 and B9 is in there. And so, which is the lipoic acid. And so there are so many ways to address mood, and this addresses every key angle of mood. And so when you're taking this, you're definitely going to have a boost in mood.
Right. And isn't it too key with hormones? So we have, like you addressed, the black cohosh, we have Dong Quai, and we have the hormone blend that we have. But I thought in my research, isn't it so important that we as women have the serotonin levels where they need to be to help balance our hormones? Isn't it all kind of working synergistically together? And
serotonin is works really well with oxytocin, which is our love hormone. Serotonin is a function of the happy and joy hormone.
Right.
And so and so is dopamine. And so because that's really the joy center part of our brain is coming from that dopamine. And serotonin is key. And so there are many things that boost serotonin. B vitamins boost serotonin. Zinc helps metabolize the Krebs cycle, which helps support healthy serotonin levels. Serotonin is key. And so especially for women when they're going through menopause, generally their serotonin is going to drop.
Right.
And, they get those post-menstrual blues.
Right.
And so you want to keep the serotonin high. You want to keep the dopamine high. You want to keep those neurotransmitters balanced. And so Dong Quai does help support that. There's also the chasteberry, which is in there, which helps support that as well. Ashwagandha, rhodiola, and the Panax with that South Korean ginseng, those also play a huge critical role in those neurotransmitters. And so it really is a balanced approach to help, not trying to send you to the moon, because we don't want a quick effect. You just want to balance yourself so that you can feel like you again.
Right.
We're not looking for synthetic, artificial feelings. This isn't a Xanax. This is a way to get you back to feeling good.
Yeah, agreed. I do. I just feel a very euphoric, but I'm balanced. And I also kind of feel like it calms me too, because I'm so high energy. But yet, I think I was talking to you about when I broke my femur bone, I've never been so tired in all my life. So I feel better. I have the energy, but I have the clarity, but I have a sense of just kind of a calming. It's a very interesting blend. And I know that the ashwagandha works very well with our I call it the good mood herb, because who can pronounce it, right? I've read that is such a beautiful combination in that they bring the best out in each other, if you will. And I feel like the formula in itself is doing that. Kind of tell me what you think, because, balancing the blood sugar is so key, right? It's just so key. It's key for our energy. It's key for the no crashing and the cravings, as you talked about. But it's also a hormone. And so it's just key to keep our bodies in that rhythmic balance, right?
It is. And you also have that L-theanine in there. L-theanine is critical. It's such a calming amino acid, and it's left out of so many formulas. L-theanine is critical. And so taking the L-theanine, taking these adaptogenic herbs that have been used for thousands of years, and Ayurvedic medicine and old Indian medicine, Chinese medicine, these have been used for calming agents. They would climb the mountains, and they would go up there and they would meditate, and they would take ashwagandha, rhodiola, and ginseng. It was part of their medicine.
Right.
And so, but what it's intended to do is to bring you that peace, that calmness, that relaxation. So you have your B vitamins, which give you the energy, and then you have these adaptogenic herbs, you have the L-theanine, and these help calm you down. So especially if anyone suffers from ADD or ADHD, I can almost guarantee you're going to love this formula because it really does support a balanced approach. We're not trying to rev you up, and we're not trying to put you to sleep. We're trying to balance you. And that was the key to this formula, was we want people to feel like them again. How do we give them their energy? How do we give them their peace? How do we give them their calm? It really does. It addresses all those areas.
Yes, yes. And you have this energy that just goes and goes. But it's like you said, you're not revved up. You're just this calm, let's go get them.
Let's go.
Yeah.
You don't want to feel like you've just had 3 Red Bulls.
Yeah.
You don't want to worry about your heart palpitating,
Right.
And the good thing is you could take this formula, and we always say, because people go, oh, this will be, I won't be able to take this with my medicine. No, let me tell you here's what I tell people. Take this to your doctor if you're worried about this affecting your medication and it being some kind of contraindicative. Take it to your doctor and say, is there anything in here that's contraindicative? Is there anything in this formula that I should be worried about? These are vitamins, minerals, and adaptogenic herbs that have been used for thousands of years.
Right.
And so even your most basically, your basic understood medical doctor has a basic understanding of nutrition. That's what I'm trying to say. A basic understanding of nutrition. He will tell you that this is fine. Now, take it to your doctor if you have a question, but just ask him,
Right.
is there anything in here that can affect me, that's going to affect this medication? I can almost guarantee he'll say no. So if he has a basic understanding of nutrition.
Right, right. That's great. So here's something that I noticed. So I can't do caffeine. I don't drink coffee. I really don't do green tea. I don't do any caffeine. I've never needed anything like that. I have this high energy, and I just never liked coffee. I don't know why. I know I'm weird. I'm like one of those few weirdos out there, right? That's me. Well, what I noticed is when I swim, I can never take anything. Now, here's what's strange. I used to drink this just antioxidants. I mean, it was just this drink I bought from this company. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary, like mangosteen and I can't remember, acai berry, whatever. Do you know, if I drank that before my swim, it would make me feel nauseous. I wouldn't feel right. So I've never been able to drink anything before I swim. It just, either I would get heart palpitations or whatever. So I wanted to put it to the test. So when I first started, we got the little samples. I don't remember, let's say day 2 or whatever it was. I took it before I swam and I drank it down, which typically if I do that, no, I will get, like the jitters, and I purposely did it. I went, I was fine. I'm like, no way. So I was like, okay, I'm going to test it again tomorrow because I'm telling you, I have serious issues with getting heart palpitations. So I decided, okay, I don't think I need to chug it in I think I only put 4 ounces of water. The recommended is 8 ounces, right? Yeah. Okay. So whatever, I think I might have put 8 ounces, and I drank it before I went swimming. I was fine. Now, to me, that's amazing. It's amazing. I saved some, by the way, so I could have some today. I drank it. I'm fine. I'm not jittery. I mean, nothing. Sudafed years ago. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I thought I was having a heart attack. And then I realized, I'm sensitive. I cannot do anything like that. And I've never taken anything really all these years. And so amazing, the quality of the green tea and the Panax, and amazing on the quality of the ingredients in this formula, because you tell me, It's got to be, right? Is that what the difference
Well,
is?
it makes sense. So we're not, your typical pre-workout or pre-swim formula would have generally 200, 300 milligrams of caffeine. Your typical coffee has about 30 to 50 milligrams of caffeine. So in this, there's almost no caffeine. That green tea that is in your formula is being used mainly for the antioxidant properties, those catechins. And so
Okay.
those are highly antioxidant properties. So the energy that you do get from this is coming from
Yes.
those B vitamins. It's coming from that Promax, that B3, that B6. And the B6 and B12, we're using the most efficient forms of B vitamins that your body can use. And so for the B12, we're using methylcobalamin. For the B6, we're using pyridoxal 5-phosphate. And so in other formulas, you can go and look and you go, well, I'm getting my Bs. I challenge you. Go look at your formula, and next to B6, if it says pyridoxine, HCl, it's cheap. If on the B12, if it says cyanocobalamin, it's just a cheaper and efficient form of B vitamin. See, your body has to convert the B vitamins before it uses it. So it has to convert cyanocobalamin into methylcobalamin, and then it's able to fully utilize it. You're skipping that first process, and you're using methylcobalamin. So you're using a very efficient form of B6, B12, which is not going to give you more energy. It just uses it more efficiently.
Yeah.
So it's using the carbs and fats and proteins in your body that you have to provide it with energy more efficiently. So, and then you've got all those natural ingredients that help create a calming state of mind. And so you really have a balanced approach. So it makes sense why you wouldn't feel like you're getting heart palpitations or you're going to have an anxiety attack or anything like that. It should do the opposite. It really should. You should feel really grounded when you're swimming if you're going to take this before.
Yeah. Yeah, I did actually. Yeah, that's a good description. Yeah. And then, of course, by addressing the body at the foundation or the cellular or the root level of balancing those blood sugars, hormones, and such, we're going to get the energy from that as well.
Well, you're putting your body in a fat burning zone.
Yes.
And so
great.
it's so if you're going to swim, you're going to be taking this, you are allowing your body to, like I said, metabolize all those fats, proteins, and carbs in your body a lot more efficiently. So you're going to get more of an effect. So if you are into exercising and working out, you are going to be, it's kind of like you're turning your car from a gas-powered car into an electric powered car.
Yeah.
You're producing energy much more efficiently. And so yes, it's that makes sense.
That's awesome. I did notice, of course, I think I only had enough for like 7 days or 8. I'm not exactly sure the days, that I did it in a row, but I did notice that a little bit of the meno belly, we call it meno belly, the menopause belly. I felt like it was, going a little bit away. Of course, when we get the product, I will take measurements and all that kind of thing so I can be accurate. But it seemed to be, which is amazing in itself because, as you mentioned, I don't care where you are in your weight journey, whether you're underweight, overweight, somewhere in between, thin, a little bit not so thin, whatever. Most of us women always want to lose a few in the mid area, in the stomach area, because that's where we tend to store it. Right. And so that excited me so much because, I'm 61, but I think I'm 21. So, okay, maybe not 21, maybe 31. Do you know what I mean? And so we want, as we age and as we grow, for me anyway, I feel right that I'm young. I have a young mind, I guess. But, we look in the mirror and we're like, well, we don't really look like we used to look, right?
Or when I look at myself in a picture, I'll go, I'm not
Who is
21
that?
anymore.
Yeah. Who is that in that picture, right? So, I'm always like, I don't want to have any kind of belly. I don't care that I have a 31-year-old and a 27-year-old. I don't care about those things, The world tells us this, right? No, I'm not buying it, right? So anyway, that makes sense of why I kind of noticed that. So I'm so excited to really take the notes,
No, that's
right?
great. Yeah. So men generally will carry their weight more in their belly.
Yeah.
Now, menopause, postmenopause, hormones fluctuate.
Mm-hmm.
And so, women can start to carry more in their belly. And so it can be just a sign of low progesterone levels. And this has many of these natural ingredients that help support healthy hormone levels, which is what you want. And so that makes sense why you're probably seeing some benefit there.
Mm-hmm.
And women generally, premenopause, will carry their weight in their hips. And that can change, though, postmenopause. And so a lot of the attributes that men have before andropause, because men go through menopause too. It's just called andropause. And
I didn't know
many people
that.
don't know that. They go
I
through
did
their own. Yes,
not.
they do. And a lot of times
Ah.
you'll see in couples, the woman, as she goes through menopause, her testosterone will rise.
Ah.
Men, their estrogen, their testosterone may go up a little bit, but their estrogen will outpace it. So men generally become very sentimental, very emotional as they get older, and women get more assertive. And so
Oh.
you'll see the roles sometimes in couples will start to flip. And a lot of people say, well, a lot of that is hormonal. And so you can balance those things out. And this is a great formula for helping balance those hormones.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
Yes, I know. I'm excited for just the balancing of the hormones. And okay, so do we have to do a men's line someday? I don't know. Just throwing it out there, ladies.
Hey, don't leave the men out. Don't leave the men
Yeah,
out.
we probably won't.
What's funny is it won't be that different of a formula. It'll actually, if you did formulate a men's line, there's some changes. This is more, specific to females,
Yes.
but you could easily make a men's in the future.
All right, ladies, you heard it. We might be making a men's one. Because, if they're all great, right? Feeling all great, they're going to want them to feel great, right?
Hey, happy wife, happy life.
That's
and so we'll
what I'm
focus on that
thinking.
first. And then you can go and buy your husband's one if you need to.
That's right. Well, our third formula, they can share with their men.
There you go. Yeah.
We're not going to tell them what that is yet. We'll keep that a secret.
We'll keep it behind our pocket.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we do have something up our sleeve for our second formula that we are already working on, kind of take it to another level, those hormones. So we're excited about that. But our beauty balance will really cover most. Is that fair?
I would say this is a foundational supplement. Absolutely. Yeah. You have so many key things that don't conflict with each other. It tastes phenomenal. A lot of times when you have a lot of certain ingredients that are addressing different things, you can have a conflict in flavor. And this was perfect.
I know.
This worked beautifully together.
I know. It's amazing. It's amazing how God brought us together. It's amazing that an answer to prayer, and for me and for Fiorina Beauty and for all of us ladies out there. And, the best part is just how special, because I started my journey decades ago into health, and I moved here 26 years ago, almost 27, and I started reading your dad's books. And I loved when I said, I know your dad. And
Yes.
you took a step back and you go,
I left that part out.
You know my dad?
Yeah.
It was just the best. And then I realized, he thinks I really know his dad. And I was like, no, I don't know your dad. And I'm like trying to, explain myself.
I'm very used to it. So
Yeah.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
Yep, I knew what you meant. He's a great man.
Yes. And his books were amazing. And I've read many of them. I used to watch him on TBN. Is he still on TBN?
He is.
Is he?
He's still on TBN.
Okay.
He's still on. He's on TV today. In fact, I was just talking to him last night. He's
Okay.
he's busy, very busy. Two medical practices. Still sees patients, and loves nutrition. He taught me everything I know.
I was just going to say, you learn from the best.
He taught me everything I know. He
And you've
really
been
did.
doing this since you were little.
Since I was a little kid. I was the guy in college who kids were coming up, Kyle, do you have a supplement for this? I had a closet in my dorm, and I had 50 or 60 different supplements, and I would just experiment with stuff, and Dad would say, hey, you should try this for this, and so I'd built up. So anytime someone was either sick or had the sniffles, I would try and recommend something natural, and I go, here's a bottle, just take this. And be like, really? I'd say, yeah, because I was, but that's been my life. Yeah, that's been my life.
Well, you're great at it. You've done a phenomenal job with our first of many, our beauty balance. And I am just so grateful and thankful and honored to work with you, and just so appreciate you and appreciate you taking me on and bringing this across the finish line so eloquently and so successfully with just incredible victory, that I cannot wait to see all the other formulas that you're going to put together for us, because I already have my list of what I want to do.
Well, it's your passion that's driving this.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what else we've got up our sleeves, but this is a phenomenal formula. It really is.
You've done a phenomenal job, and we are just so honored here at Fiorina Beauty to have you as our formulator, and you in heading that all up and in charge. And honestly, Kyle, not many could have brought this across the finish line, because I've had a lot of people in this hands in that just really couldn't. They couldn't do the flavor. They were stumped. A year and a half. And they knew how strict I was. It was just an absolute hard no, right? And you just came in, and within no time, this thing was in my hands, and I'm tasting this incredible drink. And I had so many ladies and some gentlemen. Actually, our producer, Chris was like, "It's delicious. It's refreshing." Yeah.
He did. I heard him say that earlier.
He did. Yeah, he loved it. And everyone is just blown away. I even had one young girl. I thought I would film people, right? I thought, I'll just get their reactions.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Well, she's young. She swears. She goes, "That was blank amazing." I go, "Okay, first of all, no, you can't swear."
Oh, just beep it out.
Yeah. But it was so genuine, and it was so authentic.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Are you kidding me right now? This tastes amazing." And so that, to me, like you said, first run out of the gate is very unusual for a whole team to get the taste profile correct. And I'm still blown away that
Let me tell you, some of the best formulas taste terrible, and some of the best tasting formulas are terrible formulas.
Yeah.
So it's very rare that you have a combo of both. This is a very good formula. It's phenomenal. It's going to do what it says it's going to do. Yeah. And it tastes good.
Yeah. And it's unique. Can't find it. I haven't been able to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a one of a kind. You're not going to find this at Vitamin Shop.
Nope.
Nope. You're not going to find this online or anywhere. You're going to find it only here.
That's right. That's right. So with that being said, thank you so much, because I know you're so busy. You've been doing this, like you said, for 15 years, very successful. And we're honored to have you, just helping us out and formulating for us, because I know you are busy. So thanks for taking us on. And thank you for just, oh my gosh, you've been a huge blessing. So a huge thank you. And as we say at Fiorina Beauty, my grandmother used to always say bella, or she'd say bella faccia. Say bella means you're beautiful. Bella faccia means beautiful face. And so here at Fiorina Beauty, it's our tagline. I just want to say bella. And thank you. Thank you to Kyle, and thank you, all of you, for taking the time. Comment below and let us know what you loved. Let us know what you're thinking, and you're going to be excited.
That's right. Thanks, Patti.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of the Fiorina Beauty Podcast. We hope you found inspiration and valuable insights to enhance your wellness journey. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like, comment, and share it with your friends.